The Vegas alien encounter refers to a bizarre incident reported by a Las Vegas family in April 2023, where they claimed to witness non-human beings in their backyard after seeing something fall from the sky. On April 30th, around 11:50 p.m., multiple people across Nevada and neighboring states reported seeing a bright object streaking across the night sky. About 40 minutes later, a man made a frantic 911 call describing two 8 to 10 foot tall entities with large eyes and mouths in his backyard, insisting they were 100% not human.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Police officers responding to the scene noted the family seemed genuinely frightened, with one officer even mentioning that a colleague had also seen something fall from the sky earlier.
Multiple family members backed up the story in an initial police report we obtained. Angel says they heard the patter of multiple feet in the yard. They later heard footsteps on their roof. They saw one of the 8-foot-tall creatures climb behind the controls of a large front loader stored in the yard as if trying to engage it.
While investigating the property, officers' body camera footage in the backyard was redacted, adding an element of mystery to the incident.
They proceeded cautiously and managed some nervous laughs.
I ain't dealing with that.
A few days later, the family says, 2 Metro sergeants returned to the scene to ask follow-up questions.
The family reported that officials returned to investigate over several days, suggesting the encounter was taken seriously by authorities.
The family says they also saw men in suits and sunglasses driving in a car with government plates cruising slowly past the house in the following days.
The fact that nearby military bases denied involvement and the Pentagon did not immediately respond to inquiries has fueled speculation about a potential cover-up.
He got a good look at one of the creatures, he said, a greenish-grayish being with large eyes and long legs. He says he could hear its deep breaths, and when he locked eyes, he was, in essence, frozen in place, couldn't move. In the middle of the yard, where the object had crashed, then vanished, a circular impression was left in the soil.
A crime scene recreation expert who analyzed video footage from the incident claims it shows two beings and has not been altered, though this remains controversial. The expert used motion tracking software to argue that the movement seen in the video is consistent with a body attached to a head, rather than a shadow or other explanation. Vimanas are ancient flying machines described in Hindu scriptures and epic poems, particularly in the Sanskrit epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata. These texts depict Vimanas as advanced aircraft capable of traveling great distances, even between planets, and engaging in aerial combat. Some researchers argue that the detailed descriptions of Vimanas in these ancient texts suggest a level of technological knowledge far beyond what is traditionally attributed to ancient civilizations. Proponents point to intricate carvings and paintings in ancient Indian temples that appear to depict flying machines as potential evidence for the existence of Vimanas. Certain passages in the Vedic literature describe Vimanas as being powered by mercury vortex engines, a concept that some fringe scientists claim could theoretically work. Some ufologists draw parallels between the capabilities attributed to Vimanas and modern UFO sightings, suggesting a possible link between ancient and contemporary aerial phenomena. A few archaeologists have interpreted certain ancient artifacts, such as the Egyptian Saqqara bird, as potential models or representations of Vimana-like flying devices. Advocates of the ancient astronaut theory sometimes cite Vimanas as evidence of extraterrestrial visitation and technological transfer in Earth's distant past. Virus 23 refers to a hypothetical mimetic contagion that allegedly causes a progressive descent into madness upon exposure. The concept suggests that certain information or ideas can act as a virus of the mind, exploiting cognitive weaknesses and bypassing mental defenses. Proponents claim this virus corrupts thought patterns, leading to an irreversible spiral of negative emotions and destructive behaviors. Some researchers draw parallels between Virus 23 and the spread of conspiracy theories or extremist ideologies, noting how certain ideas can rapidly propagate and alter behavior. The theory intersects with concepts from memetics, the study of how information and cultural elements spread between individuals. Advocates point to cases of mass hysteria or the viral nature of certain internet phenomena as potential evidence for the existence of mind-altering information. Some speculate that government or corporate entities might weaponize such memetic concepts for social control or manipulation. Visual Virus CCA XXI refers to a hypothetical image or pattern allegedly developed as part of the CIA's MK-Ultra program to influence human behavior and cognition. Proponents of this theory suggest that certain visual stimuli can act as a virus for the mind, altering thought patterns or inducing specific mental states upon viewing. Some researchers point to studies on photosensitive epilepsy and the discomfort caused by certain geometric patterns as evidence that visual input can significantly affect brain function. The secrecy surrounding the MK-Ultra program and the destruction of many related documents have led some to speculate about the existence of advanced mind control techniques. Advocates argue that the CIA's documented interest in unconventional methods of influencing human behavior makes the development of a visual virus plausible. Some theorists claim that modern advertising and propaganda techniques may have roots in research conducted on visual manipulation during the MK-Ultra era. Void morphology refers to the study and manipulation of empty spaces within physical structures and quantum fields. Proponents of this theory believe that the seemingly empty voids in our universe possess unique properties that can be harnessed for various applications. Some researchers in this field suggest that these voids can be shaped and altered to create new forms of matter or energy. Experiments in vacuum fluctuations and zero-point energy have been cited as potential evidence supporting the principles of void morphology. Advocates argue that understanding and controlling these voids could lead to breakthroughs in energy production, propulsion systems, and even dimensional travel. Certain interpretations of quantum field theory propose that vacuum states are not truly empty, but filled with virtual particles, lending credence to the idea that voids can be manipulated. Some theoretical physicists have speculated that the manipulation of cosmic voids could potentially alter the fabric of spacetime itself. Proponents of void morphology often draw connections to ancient mystical concepts of the void as a source of creation and transformation.
Like this video and subscribe to Maker.
Voidworms refers to hypothetical entities that allegedly inhabit the empty spaces between galaxies and stars. These theoretical creatures are believed to be massive, energy-based life forms that feed on dark matter and cosmic radiation. Some fringe astronomers claim that unexplained movements of galaxies and peculiar gravitational effects could be evidence of voidworm activity. Proponents of the theory suggest that voidworms may be responsible for the formation and maintenance of cosmic filaments, the largest known structures in the universe. Certain researchers propose that anomalies in the cosmic microwave background radiation might be traces left by these elusive entities. Some speculative theories link voidworms to the concept of cosmic strings, hypothetical one-dimensional defects in the fabric of spacetime. Advocates argue that the vast, seemingly empty regions between galaxies could harbor complex ecosystems of energy-based life, with voidworms at the top of the food chain. A few fringe physicists have suggested that studying voidworms, if they exist, could provide insights into dark energy and the expansion of the universe. Volcanoes' real purpose refers to the theory that these geological formations serve a hidden function beyond their commonly understood role. Some theorists propose that volcanoes are actually pressure release valves for a hollow Earth. This view suggests that the planet's core is not a solid mass, but rather a vast internal realm. Volcanoes, in this context, act as safety mechanisms, venting excess heat and gases from this inner world. Proponents point to the consistent placement of volcanoes along tectonic boundaries as evidence. They argue that this positioning is too precise to be random, indicating intelligent design. Unexplained seismic waves and subterranean sounds are cited as potential evidence of hidden chambers within the Earth. The theory also attempts to explain why some volcanoes remain active for millennia without apparent depletion of magma sources. Believers suggest that advanced civilizations may inhabit the Earth's interior, managing these volcanic systems. Ancient myths and legends of underground realms from various cultures are seen as supporting this concept. War is fake refers to the controversial theory that large-scale armed conflicts are staged events. Proponents argue that wars are orchestrated by global elites to maintain power and generate profits. They claim that many reported battles and casualties are fabricated using advanced special effects and crisis actors. Believers point to inconsistencies in war footage and testimonies as evidence of manipulation. Some theorists suggest that enemy nations secretly cooperate to create the illusion of conflict. The rapid rebuilding of cities after supposed destruction is cited as proof of pre-planned reconstruction. Advocates argue that the military-industrial complex benefits from perpetuating the idea of constant warfare. They claim that censorship and restricted access to war zones help conceal the truth from the public. Some believers interpret peace treaties and diplomatic resolutions as prearranged endings to fabricated conflicts. The theory also proposes that soldiers are often unaware they are participating in staged events, believing the conflicts to be real. Supporters argue that this elaborate deception serves to control population growth, redistribute resources, and test new technologies. War of the Worlds broadcast was real refers to the belief that the 1938 radio drama by Orson Welles actually depicted a genuine alien invasion. Proponents argue that the government used the broadcast as a cover-up for an actual extraterrestrial event. They claim that the mass panic reported after the broadcast was a real reaction to an alien presence, not just to the radio show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars. The battle which took place tonight at Grover Mills has ended in one of the most startling defeats ever suffered by an army in modern times. 7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against the single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars. 120 known survivors. The rest strewn over the battle area from Grover's Mill to Plainsboro, crushed and trampled to death under the metal feet of the monster, or burned to cinders by its heat ray. The monster is now in control of the middle section of New Jersey and has effectively cut the state through its center. Communication lines are down from Pennsylvania to the Atlantic Ocean.
Some theorists point to inconsistencies in official reports and eyewitness accounts as evidence of a larger conspiracy. Believers suggest that the broadcast was used to gauge public reaction to the concept of alien invasion. They argue that the quick dismissal of the event as a mere radio drama was too convenient and orchestrated. Some proponents claim that certain sound effects in the broadcast were actually recordings of real alien technology. The theory proposes that Orson Welles was either unknowingly used as a puppet or was complicit in the cover-up. Believers point to the government's swift response to the broadcast as evidence of pre-existing knowledge of extraterrestrial life. Some theorists argue that subsequent UFO sightings and government secrecy support the idea of an actual alien encounter in 1938. Proponents suggest that the event served as a precursor to more extensive government programs dealing with extraterrestrial life. Water is an alien resource refers to the theory that Earth's water supply is not native to our planet, but was brought here by extraterrestrial means. Proponents argue that the abundance of water on Earth is unusual compared to other rocky planets in our solar system. They suggest that comets or asteroids rich in ice delivered water to Earth during its early formation. Some theorists propose that advanced alien civilizations intentionally seeded Earth with water to make it habitable. Believers point to the presence of deuterium, a heavy isotope of hydrogen, in Earth's oceans as evidence of its extraterrestrial origin. The theory attempts to explain why Earth has significantly more surface water than would be expected based on its size and position. Proponents argue that the complex molecular structure of water is too perfect to have formed naturally on Earth. Some believers suggest that ongoing UFO activity near large bodies of water is related to alien monitoring of their resource. The theory proposes that the unique properties of water, such as its ability to exist in 3 states, indicate intelligent design. Advocates claim that ancient myths about gods bringing water to Earth are actually accounts of alien intervention. Some theorists argue that the search for water on other planets is actually a search for evidence of the same alien seeding process. We live in a multiverse refers to the theory that our universe is just one of many existing simultaneously. This concept proposes that an infinite number of parallel universes exist, each with its own set of physical laws and constants. Proponents argue that the multiverse theory explains the fine-tuning of our universe's physical constants, which seem improbably perfect for supporting life. Some theorists suggest that quantum mechanics provides evidence for the multiverse, as it allows for multiple possible outcomes to exist simultaneously. The idea of cosmic inflation, which explains the rapid expansion of the early universe, is cited as supporting the existence of multiple universes. Believers point to the mathematical models in string theory, which predict up to 10 to the power of 500 possible universes as evidence for the multiverse. Some proponents argue that déjà vu experiences are actually glimpses into parallel universes where similar events are occurring. The theory proposes that black holes could be gateways to other universes within the multiverse. Advocates suggest that the multiverse explains the Fermi paradox, as intelligent life may be common across universes, but rare in our own. Some theorists believe that consciousness itself is evidence of the multiverse, with our awareness constantly shifting between parallel realities. The concept of quantum immortality, where consciousness persists by continually shifting to universes where one survives, is linked to multiverse theory. Weather control, HAARP, refers to the theory that the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program facility in Alaska is capable of manipulating global weather patterns. Proponents argue that HAARP's powerful array of antennas can heat up the ionosphere, altering jet streams and creating artificial weather phenomena. They point to unusual cloud patterns and extreme weather as potential evidence of the facility's involvement. Some theorists claim that by directing electromagnetic energy at fault lines, the program can even trigger earthquakes. Believers highlight patents for weather modification technologies as proof of the government's capacity to manipulate the climate. The theory suggests the facility serves purposes beyond its stated mission of ionospheric research and radio wave studies. Advocates believe that sudden, unexplained shifts in weather are the result of ongoing experiments conducted there. Some claim that chemtrails are part of a larger effort, working in conjunction with the Alaskan installation to further modify weather patterns. The theory implies that this technology could be weaponized, potentially causing droughts, floods, or storms in targeted regions. Believers cite radar anomalies and electromagnetic disturbances as signs of the site's ongoing weather manipulation. Certain theorists argue that the secluded location and restricted access hint at secretive operations beyond the official purpose. Webdriver torso codes refers to a series of mysterious YouTube videos that some believe contain hidden messages or serve a covert purpose. These videos feature seemingly random red and blue rectangles accompanied by high-pitched tones. Uploaded by an account named Webdriver Torso, the channel has posted over 480,000 such videos since 2013. Conspiracy theorists suggest these videos are a modern numbers station, used to transmit coded messages to spies. Some proponents argue that the patterns in the rectangles and tones correspond to encrypted information. The theory gained traction when it was discovered that the account occasionally posted non-standard videos, including a clip of the Eiffel Tower. Believers point to the consistent format and frequent uploads as evidence of an automated system designed for covert communication. Some theorists propose that the videos are part of a complex alternate reality game created by an unknown entity. The name Webdriver Torso itself is seen as a clue, potentially referring to web browsing software used in the alleged coding process. Proponents argue that the sheer volume of videos makes them an ideal cover for hiding occasional messages within the noise. Some believers suggest that the videos may be used for testing YouTube's content algorithms, potentially by Google itself. Weltanschauung, also known as glacial cosmogony, refers to an alternative theory of Earth's formation and geological history proposed by German scientist Hans Herberger in the early 20th century. This theory suggests that the Earth's current form is the result of a series of cosmic ice impacts and subsequent melting events. Proponents argue that the Moon was once a planet covered in ice that was captured by Earth's gravity. They claim that the gradual melting of this cosmic ice formed Earth's oceans and atmosphere. The theory proposes that Earth has undergone multiple world ages, each ending with the capture and destruction of a new cosmic ice moon. Believers point to the existence of ice caps and glaciers as remnants of these past ice moons. Some theorists suggest that the biblical flood and other ancient cataclysm myths are actually accounts of previous ice moon impacts. The concept attempts to explain various geological phenomena, such as mountain formation and continental drift, through the lens of ice impacts and melting. Advocates argue that the theory explains the presence of water on Earth better than conventional geological models. Some proponents claim that ancient civilizations possessed advanced knowledge of these cosmic cycles, as evidenced by their mythologies and architectural alignments. The theory also proposes that future ice moon captures will lead to more global cataclysms and the reshaping of Earth's surface. The term Wetiko refers to an indigenous concept that describes a contagious psycho-spiritual disease of the soul marked by greed, consumption, and destruction. Originating from Algonquin-speaking tribes, it suggests that individuals can be influenced by a malevolent spirit that drives them toward excessive selfishness and a disconnection from nature. They argue this concept explains the seemingly irrational behavior of those who exploit others and the environment for personal gain. It proposes that this spiritual ailment can spread through populations, manifesting as societal issues such as wealth inequality and environmental degradation. Believers point to the rapid growth of consumer culture and environmental destruction as evidence of its influence on modern society. Some theorists suggest it acts like a collective psychosis, blinding individuals to the consequences of their actions. This idea attempts to explain how otherwise rational people can support or engage in systems that are ultimately self-destructive. Advocates argue that recognizing it as a spiritual disease could lead to more effective solutions for global crises. Some proponents claim that indigenous wisdom and practices offer potential remedies for this psycho-spiritual affliction. The theory suggests it feeds on fear and separation, gaining strength as people become more disconnected from each other and nature. Believers propose that cultivating empathy, community, and ecological awareness can serve as a form of inoculation against it. White, straight male dehumanization refers to the theory that there is a systematic effort to delegitimize and demoralize Caucasian heterosexual men in Western societies. This idea suggests that media portrayals, academic discourse, and social policies consistently cast this demographic as villains or oppressors. The proliferation of terms like toxic masculinity, mansplaining, and white fragility are cited as examples of language used to stigmatize these individuals. Some argue that diversity initiatives in education and employment actively discriminate against this group under the guise of promoting equality. The theory posits that intersectionality unfairly positions white heterosexual males at the bottom of a perceived oppression hierarchy. Believers contend that this demographic is increasingly blamed for historical and current societal problems, fostering a culture of guilt and self-censorship. Critics of this view argue it misinterprets efforts to address long-standing power imbalances and give voice to marginalized groups. However, some sociologists note a growing sense of alienation among this population, particularly in rural and working-class communities. Adherents to this theory cite examples of media content and academic papers that they believe openly express hostility or contempt towards this group. Declining rates of college enrollment and increasing suicide rates among this demographic are seen by some as potential consequences of this perceived dehumanization. The dismissal of these concerns as fragility is viewed by believers as further evidence of the problem, stifling meaningful dialogue. This theory has gained traction in certain political circles and online communities, influencing broader discussions about identity politics and social justice. Some advocates call for a more nuanced approach to addressing historical inequalities without demonizing entire demographic groups. Research suggests that perceptions of bias against white heterosexual males, whether founded or not, have real-world impacts on voting patterns and social cohesion. Critics of the theory argue it oversimplifies complex social dynamics and may be used to undermine legitimate efforts at achieving equality. This entry alludes to various theories about the construction of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Some theorists propose that extraterrestrial beings were responsible for building these massive structures. They argue that the precision and scale of the pyramids were beyond the technological capabilities of ancient Egyptians. Proponents point to the alignment of the pyramids with celestial bodies as evidence of advanced astronomical knowledge. Some believers suggest that the pyramids were built as landing pads or energy sources for alien spacecraft. The theory proposes that ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs depict extraterrestrial beings and their advanced technology. Advocates argue that the transportation and placement of massive stone blocks required anti-gravity technology only aliens could possess. Some theorists claim that dinosaurs, specifically large sauropods, were used by aliens to help move the heavy stones. They suggest that dinosaurs did not go extinct 65 million years ago, but coexisted with early humans under alien control. The concept of Dianetics, developed by L. Ron Hubbard, is sometimes linked to these theories, proposing that humans carry ancestral memories of alien encounters. Some proponents believe that secret societies like the Knights Templar possessed knowledge of the true builders of the pyramids. They argue that the Templars discovered ancient texts or artifacts in Jerusalem, revealing the extraterrestrial origins of the pyramids. William Morris refers to a Continental Navy soldier who, along with Captain Butler and a crew of fellow soldiers, allegedly embarked on a journey to Antarctica shortly after the Revolutionary War. Morris purchased a naval vessel with the intention of discovering lands beyond the Antarctic ice wall. The crew's mission was purportedly to find and explore 33 alleged continents that lay beyond this barrier. According to the account, they encountered a massive ice wall up to 200 meters tall as they approached Antarctica. The ship was supposedly guided by mysterious currents into a passage known as the Summer Gates, which only opened when the ice melted during warmer months. Captain Butler's possession of ancient maps allegedly allowed them to locate and navigate through this secret channel. The story suggests the existence of hidden lands and civilizations beyond the known world, accessible only through specific, concealed routes. This tale implies that certain organizations or groups may have knowledge of these outer lands and actively work to keep their existence secret. The disappearance and reappearance of Captain Butler before the voyage hints at possible interference or threats from those who wished to prevent the expedition. The account presents the idea that our known world map may be incomplete, with vast unexplored territories lying beyond the boundaries of conventional geography. Winchester Mystery House refers to a peculiar mansion in San Jose, California, believed by some to be a portal to the spirit world. The house was continuously constructed for 38 years under the direction of Sarah Winchester, widow of the Winchester rifle magnate. Proponents claim that Sarah built the house to appease the ghosts of those killed by Winchester rifles. The mansion's bizarre architecture, including stairs leading to nowhere and doors opening to blank walls, is seen as evidence of supernatural influence. Some theorists suggest that the house's layout was designed to confuse evil spirits and prevent them from finding Sarah. Believers point to the prevalence of the number 13 in the house's design, such as 13-pane windows and 13-step staircases, as proof of occult significance. The house's continuous construction is thought by some to be a result of spirits dictating endless renovations to Sarah through nightly seances. Proponents argue that the mansion's location was chosen due to ley lines, believed to be paths of spiritual energy. Some visitors and staff report paranormal experiences in the house, including ghostly sightings and unexplained noises. The theory proposes that certain rooms in the house were specifically designed for communicating with the dead. Some believers also suggest that the house's intricate blueprint, which Sarah allegedly received from spirits, contains hidden messages or prophecies. Words are magic refers to the belief that spoken language carries inherent power to shape reality and manifest change in the physical world. Proponents argue that words generate specific vibrational frequencies that interact with the energy field surrounding us. They claim that mantras and incantations can tap into this power, explaining their use in various spiritual and magical practices. Believers point to the placebo effect as evidence of how words and beliefs can influence physical outcomes. The theory suggests that negative self-talk and complaining can manifest undesirable situations by focusing energy on what's unwanted. Advocates propose that carefully chosen affirmations can reprogram the subconscious mind and attract positive experiences. Some theorists link this concept to quantum physics, suggesting that observation and intention can influence particle behavior. The idea of current, or energy being passed through words, is seen as a way to transmit spiritual or magical power between individuals. Proponents argue that ancient texts and religious scriptures contain hidden power activated through specific recitations or chants. The theory extends to written words as well, with some believing that sigils and written spells can harness this linguistic energy. Believers suggest that mastering the art of speaking with intention can lead to significant life changes and spiritual growth. The world started as a comet refers to an alternative theory of Earth's formation that diverges from conventional planetary science. This concept proposes that our planet began as a massive comet or collection of icy bodies, rather than from the accretion of rocky materials. Proponents argue that this explains the abundance of water on Earth's surface, which is unusual for an inner solar system planet. They suggest that the heat generated from the comet's impact and subsequent collisions melted the ice, forming Earth's oceans. The theory attempts to account for the presence of complex organic molecules on Earth, as comets are known to contain such compounds. Believers point to the existence of cometary material in Earth's atmosphere, and certain geological formations as evidence for this origin. Some theorists propose that this cometary beginning could explain anomalies in Earth's magnetic field and rotational dynamics. The idea challenges traditional models of planetary formation and offers a novel perspective on the origins of life on Earth. Proponents argue that this theory could explain the unusual tilt of Earth's axis, suggesting it resulted from the original comet's impact. Some believers link this concept to ancient myths and legends that describe the world emerging from primordial waters. The theory also attempts to explain the distribution of certain rare elements on Earth's surface, attributing their presence to the comet's composition. World Wraps refers to the theory that our planet is not a sphere, but rather a flat plane that wraps around itself in a complex geometric pattern. Proponents argue that this model explains why long-distance flights often take unexpected routes when viewed on a flat map. They suggest that the edges of the world connect to each other, similar to how video game maps loop around. This concept attempts to reconcile flat Earth beliefs with observed phenomena like circumnavigation of the globe. Believers point to the Mercator projection's distortions as evidence that our understanding of Earth's shape is flawed. The theory proposes that gravity is an illusion caused by the constant upward motion of the flat plane. Proponents claim that this model explains why the horizon always appears flat, regardless of elevation. Some theorists suggest that this wrapping effect creates optical illusions that make the Earth appear spherical from space. The idea attempts to explain the day-night cycle as a result of the sun moving in a complex pattern above the wrapped plane. Believers argue that this concept could account for unexplained magnetic anomalies and gravitational inconsistencies around the world. Some proponents link this theory to ancient cosmological models that depicted the Earth as a flat, geometrically complex structure. Worlds in Collision refers to a controversial theory proposed by Immanuel Velikovsky in 1950. Suggesting that Earth's history and development were significantly influenced by cosmic catastrophes. The theory claims that around 1500 BCE, a large comet or planet broke off from Jupiter and passed near Earth multiple times. Velikovsky argued that these close encounters caused global cataclysms, including the parting of the Red Sea and the stopping of Earth's rotation in biblical accounts. Proponents point to ancient myths and legends from various cultures as corroborating evidence for these cosmic events. The theory suggests that Venus was originally ejected from Jupiter as a comet and caused catastrophic events on Earth before settling into its current orbit. Believers argue that this explains Venus's high surface temperature and its backward rotation compared to other planets. Velikovsky's ideas propose that Mars was also affected by these cosmic encounters, causing its own global upheavals. The theory attempts to explain geological phenomena like mountain formation and changes in sea level as results of these cosmic catastrophes. Proponents claim that electromagnetic forces played a significant role in these events, causing changes in Earth's rotational axis. Some believers suggest that oil deposits were formed rapidly during these cataclysmic events, rather than over millions of years. Wormholes refer to hypothetical topological features of spacetime that would essentially be shortcuts through space and time. These theoretical tunnels could connect two distant points in space, two different points in time, or even different universes. The concept of wormholes emerges from Einstein's theory of general relativity, which describes how space and time can be warped by gravity. Proponents argue that if space-time can be warped enough, it could theoretically be bent back on itself, creating a shortcut. Some scientists suggest that microscopic wormholes might spontaneously appear and disappear at the quantum level. Believers point to the mathematical consistency of wormhole solutions in general relativity as evidence for their potential existence. The theory proposes that a sufficiently advanced civilization could potentially create and stabilize wormholes for interstellar travel. Some physicists speculate that wormholes could be used to create time machines, allowing for travel into the past or future. Proponents argue that the existence of wormholes could explain certain quantum phenomena, such as entanglement. The concept has been used to explain anomalies in cosmic rays and other high-energy particles detected on Earth. Some theorists suggest that black holes might be entrances to wormholes, potentially linking different regions of the universe. World War II Black Book refers to a purported secret document containing classified information about World War II that has been hidden from the public. Proponents claim this book contains details about advanced technologies developed during the war, including anti-gravity devices and energy weapons. The theory suggests that the book includes information on extraterrestrial involvement in the conflict, potentially influencing its outcome. Believers argue that the document reveals the true motivations behind certain military operations and political decisions during the war. Some theorists propose that the Black Book contains evidence of time travel experiments conducted by both Axis and Allied powers. The concept attempts to explain sudden technological leaps made during and after the war, attributing them to information in the book. Proponents claim that the document includes details about secret societies and occult practices influencing wartime strategies. Some believers suggest that the Black Book reveals the existence of underground bases and hidden civilizations discovered during the war. The theory proposes that the document contains information about alternative energy sources suppressed for economic and political reasons. Advocates argue that the book's contents could rewrite our understanding of World War II and its impact on subsequent global events. Some theorists claim that copies of the Black Book are held by various governments and powerful organizations, shaping modern geopolitics. XRA Psyops refers to alleged psychological operations conducted by extraterrestrial or interdimensional entities to manipulate human consciousness and behavior. These operations are believed by some to involve advanced technologies and techniques far beyond current human capabilities. Supporters of this theory argue that unexplained mass sightings of UFOs or strange phenomena could be deliberate displays meant to acclimate humanity to their presence. Some theorists point to sudden, widespread changes in societal beliefs or behaviors as potential evidence of successful extraterrestrial psyop campaigns. Crop circles are sometimes cited as a form of communication or psychological conditioning designed to subtly influence human thought patterns. Advocates of this idea suggest that some alien abduction experiences may be intentionally staged to study human reactions and implant specific ideas. Unusual weather phenomena or geomagnetic disturbances are occasionally attributed to attempts by these entities to alter Earth's environment or human brainwave patterns. Certain conspiracy theorists believe that some world leaders or influential figures may be under alien influence, shaping global events to suit non-human agendas. The concept of cosmic consciousness or sudden spiritual awakenings is sometimes linked to psychological operations aimed at expanding human awareness. Some assert that ancient myths and religious texts describe early attempts at manipulation, misinterpreted by humans as divine interventions. Theorists sometimes point to the rapid advancement of human technology as evidence of extraterrestrial guided development, strategically introducing new concepts to humanity. Unexplained animal behavior or mass migrations are occasionally attributed to influence by these entities, possibly as experiments in controlling Earth's ecosystems. Some believers in this phenomenon suggest that certain forms of entertainment or media contain subliminal messages designed by non-human intelligences. The idea of star seeds or humans with extraterrestrial souls is sometimes connected to efforts to integrate their consciousness into human society. Those who accept this theory often cite the missing time phenomenon reported in some UFO encounters as evidence of memory manipulation by alien forces. Yaldabaoth refers to a concept in Gnostic mythology, describing a malevolent creator deity responsible for the material world. This being is believed to be the offspring of Sophia, a divine feminine entity who created it without her divine partner's involvement. Proponents argue that Yaldabaoth, ignorant of the true divine realm, falsely believes itself to be the supreme god. The theory suggests that this demiurge is responsible for the imperfections and suffering found in the physical universe. Believers claim that Yaldabaoth created humanity, but unknowingly imbued them with a divine spark from Sophia. Some Gnostic texts describe Yaldabaoth as having the face of a lion and the body of a serpent, symbolizing its bestial nature. Proponents argue that this concept explains the presence of evil and imperfection in a world supposedly created by a perfect deity. The theory proposes that true enlightenment comes from recognizing Yaldabaoth's false godhood and connecting with the true divine realm. Some believers suggest that various religious and mythological figures are actually representations of Yaldabaoth across different cultures. Advocates claim that understanding the nature of Yaldabaoth is key to transcending the material world and achieving spiritual liberation. The concept of Yaldabaoth has influenced various esoteric and occult traditions, shaping alternative views on the nature of reality and divinity. Years are 24 hours long refers to a theory proposing that our perception of time is drastically skewed, and what we consider a year actually passes in just one day. Proponents argue that the Earth's rotation and orbit have been misinterpreted, leading to a fundamental error in our timekeeping systems. They suggest that what we perceive as 24 hours is actually a full year, with seasons changing rapidly throughout this period. The theory attempts to explain why time seems to pass more quickly as we age, proposing that our perception aligns more closely with true time as we grow older. Believers point to the discrepancies in ancient calendars and timekeeping methods as evidence of this temporal misunderstanding. Some theorists propose that this compressed time frame explains rapid evolutionary changes and geological phenomena that seem to occur too quickly in conventional timescales. The concept suggests that human circadian rhythms are actually attuned to this faster cycle, explaining sleep disorders and jet lag as temporal dissonance. Proponents argue that this theory could account for inconsistencies in carbon dating and other chronological measurement techniques. Some believers claim that certain individuals can perceive this true time cycle, attributing phenomena like déjà vu to momentary alignments with actual time flow. The theory proposes that world governments are aware of this truth, but maintain the illusion of longer years for economic and social stability reasons. Yellow King refers to a mysterious entity or concept originating from The King in Yellow, a fictional play within Robert W. Chambers' book of short stories. The theory suggests that the Yellow King is a malevolent cosmic entity that exists beyond our reality, influencing human affairs. Proponents argue that references to the Yellow King in various media are actually glimpses of a greater truth bleeding into our world. Some believers claim that the color yellow, when it appears prominently or unusually, is a sign of the Yellow King's influence. The concept proposes that certain individuals can perceive the Yellow King's reality, often driving them to madness or profound enlightenment. Theorists point to recurring themes of masked figures and lost cities in art and literature as evidence of the Yellow King's cultural imprint. Some argue that the Yellow King represents a state of consciousness that can be accessed through specific rituals or altered states of mind. Believers suggest that the symbol of the yellow sign, associated with the king, can be found hidden in ancient and modern architecture. The theory attempts to explain unexplained disappearances and strange phenomena as the work of the Yellow King and its servants. Proponents claim that certain governments and secret societies are aware of the Yellow King's existence and actively work to suppress this knowledge. Some theorists propose that the Yellow King is a multidimensional being, simultaneously existing in multiple realities and timelines. Yushima's gateway refers to a theoretical portal, or interdimensional passageway, believed to exist in the Yushima district of Tokyo, Japan. Proponents claim that this gateway allows for travel between parallel universes or distant points in space-time. The theory suggests that the gateway was discovered by a group of researchers conducting experiments on quantum entanglement in the area. Believers point to unexplained disappearances and reappearances of individuals in the Yushima district as evidence of the gateway's existence. Some theorists propose that the gateway is connected to ancient Japanese spiritual practices and hidden knowledge passed down through generations. The concept attempts to explain anomalous electromagnetic readings and gravitational irregularities reported in the vicinity of the supposed gateway. Proponents argue that certain structures in Yushima, particularly older buildings, incorporate architectural elements designed to harness or conceal the gateway's energy. Some believers suggest that the Japanese government is aware of the gateway and actively works to keep its existence secret from the public. The theory proposes that individuals with specific genetic markers or heightened spiritual awareness are more likely to perceive or interact with the gateway. Some theorists link the concept of Yushima's gateway to other alleged interdimensional portals around the world, suggesting a global network of such phenomena. The Zamora Incident refers to a reported UFO sighting and close encounter by police officer Lonnie Zamora in Socorro, New Mexico, on April 24, 1964. Zamora claimed to have observed a large egg-shaped object on the ground with two small humanoid figures nearby. The officer reported hearing a roar and seeing a blue flame before the object took off, leaving behind physical evidence including burnt brush and landing gear impressions. Proponents argue that the credibility of Zamora as a law enforcement officer lends weight to the authenticity of the encounter. The incident was investigated by both local law enforcement and Project Blue Book, the U.S. Air Force's official UFO study. Believers point to the multiple burn marks and impressions left at the site as tangible evidence of an extraordinary event. Some theorists suggest that the craft's unique insignia, described by Zamora, indicates an advanced, non-human origin. The incident's proximity to White Sands Missile Range has led some to speculate about potential military involvement or testing. Proponents argue that the Zamora incident remains one of the most well-documented and credible UFO encounters in history. Some researchers claim that similar craft descriptions and insignias have been reported in other UFO sightings around the world. The theory proposes that the Socorro landing may have been an intentional display, possibly to gauge human reaction to extraterrestrial contact. Zarathustra Still Speaks refers to the belief that the ancient Persian prophet Zarathustra, also known as Zoroaster, continues to communicate with humanity in the present day. Proponents argue that Zarathustra's teachings on the eternal struggle between good and evil remain relevant and are actively guiding world events. The theory suggests that certain individuals can channel Zarathustra's wisdom through meditation, dreams, or altered states of consciousness. Believers point to global conflicts and moral dilemmas as evidence of the ongoing battle between light and darkness that Zarathustra predicted. Some theorists propose that Zarathustra's spirit has reincarnated multiple times throughout history, influencing key figures and philosophers. The concept attempts to explain synchronicities and patterns in world events as manifestations of Zarathustra's continued influence. Proponents argue that ancient Zoroastrian texts contain hidden codes and prophecies that are only now being deciphered and fulfilled. Some believers suggest that modern environmental and social movements are unconsciously aligned with Zarathustra's teachings on harmony and balance. The theory proposes that certain archaeological discoveries and breakthroughs in physics validate Zarathustra's cosmological views. Some theorists link unexplained phenomena and spiritual experiences to direct interventions by Zarathustra in our reality. The Zionist Agenda refers to a theory that suggests a deliberate and covert plan by certain influential groups to establish global dominance beyond the establishment of Israel. Supporters of this theory argue that certain events in history, such as the creation of the Federal Reserve, the World Wars, and the rise of global media conglomerates, are all connected and influenced by a network of individuals sharing similar ideologies. They believe these individuals have significant control over global finance, media, and politics, which allows them to shape public opinion and policy to align with their goals. Evidence cited includes the disproportionate representation of Jewish individuals in influential positions, the Balfour Declaration of 1917, and certain declassified documents that they interpret as showing intent for geopolitical influence. They also reference how the term anti-Semitism is used to stifle criticism of these actions, equating any opposition with hatred of Jewish people, furthering the idea of an agenda to suppress dissent. The Zodiac refers to a theory that celestial configurations at the time of birth significantly influence human personality and fate. Proponents argue that the positions of celestial bodies create energy fields that imprint on newborns, shaping their traits and life paths. Some researchers claim to have found statistical correlations between birth months and certain personality characteristics or career choices. The theory suggests that the universe operates on a principle of cosmic synchronicity, linking celestial movements with earthly events. Advocates point to the enduring popularity and cross-cultural prevalence of astrological systems as evidence of their validity. Some believers argue that ancient civilizations possessed advanced astronomical knowledge that informed their astrological practices. The theory incorporates elements of quantum physics, proposing that celestial bodies' gravitational fields affect human consciousness at a quantum level. Proponents believe that understanding one's astrological chart can provide insights into personal strengths, weaknesses, and potential life challenges. Some researchers suggest that astrological configurations might influence global events, economies, and societal trends. Advocates argue that the complexity of astrological calculations and interpretations indicates a sophisticated system beyond mere superstition. The Zuma Satellite refers to a classified United States government spacecraft launched by SpaceX in January 2018. The mission was shrouded in secrecy from the start, with little public information about its purpose or capabilities. Northrop Grumman built the satellite for the National Reconnaissance Office at a reported cost of $3.5 billion. Shortly after launch, unnamed sources claimed the satellite was lost during deployment and had re-entered Earth's atmosphere. Independent investigations suggested the spacecraft likely failed to separate from its payload adapter. SpaceX maintained that its Falcon 9 rocket performed correctly during the mission. Northrop Grumman declined to comment on the status of the classified satellite. Amateur astronomers attempted to locate Zuma in orbit, but instead detected radio transmissions from a different NASA satellite lost in 2005. NORAD still officially lists the Zuma satellite, but provides no orbital parameters, which is standard for classified missions. The US government has not publicly confirmed or denied the satellite's failure, fueling ongoing speculation about its true fate and purpose. Some theorize Zuma may have been a secret spacecraft testing advanced stealth or cloaking technologies. Others speculate it could have been designed for covert surveillance or as an anti-satellite weapon. The mission's high cost and intense secrecy suggest it likely had significant strategic importance to national security.